This is Steve here doing a video for my Home Depot review of the commercial electric 4-inch LED slim color changing recessed light kit, also called the Ultra Slim lights. In this video I'm just going to do an overview of the lighting system or on the lights, and I will do a demonstration at the end. So I will note these lights also come in 3-inch, they also come in a 6-inch light, and they come in 1 packs and 2 packs. So overall, these lights to me are the best thing since sliced bread because of their low profile design there and the ability to change the color or the temperature of the light. And I'll kind of bring one of them into view here. And as you can see, very low profile light, just clips up in your ceiling. And what's really awesome is if you've installed recessed lights or you've seen them before, there's usually this giant metal can, you know, if it's new construction or remodel, there's like an electric box in there. And what that meant was if there was a joist anywhere where you wanted to put the light, pretty much, you could not install the light there because you had all this metal, right? Now, for the most part, it does not matter what is there. If there's a joist or not, you can pretty much squeeze this light in. There is one caveat to that, which I will get into towards the end of the video. So a few things I'll just cover on this box real quick. Here are the colors you can change the lights between. Anything from a warm white to a daylight. It's all preference. Down here in my basement, I prefer a little more on the brighter side, or the daylight. These lights don't use a lot of money. They are LED and they are wet rated, so you can put them in the bathroom. They are dimmable. There's a list of compatible dimmers if you click the specifications sheet on the product page under product overview. You can see a list of compatible dimmers there, but you can dim them. I went with this dimmer here. I'll put that product number in the comments, but it's a standard dimmer and I like it because I don't have to change the faceplate. It's a standard toggle switch with a little dimmer on the side. Okay. Lastly, these are IC rated, so you can put them in a ceiling or cavity or an attic that has insulation in it, preferably batt. If it's loose insulation, it's going to make a huge mess if you're pulling this out to change the color of the light. So all right, so now I'll go back to the light here. As I've covered, it's a low profile light. From this rim here that grips the ceiling to this top here is 4/10 of an inch. So it won't even go above most drywall or most ceilings. These clamps here are pretty easy to use. They're not clunky, confusing clamps like you may have used on other remodel lights. And these will hold into material up to about 1 inch thick. So if you have really thick ceilings, like I have in my upstairs that are plaster and drywall, you can fit these lights in there. So, and the lights have a little rubber disc around them for insulation, so you don't lose heat up into your attic. Lights are pretty clean on the outside. As you can see, there's no baffle on them like a lot of recessed lights have. So these lights are also very light. So I installed these in my basement and some old ceiling tile, which I just found out do not have asbestos in them, which was awesome. And the ceiling tile can hold this light well. So it's also, these clamps are not strong. These clamps are strong, but they're not too strong that you can't pull them in and out of the ceiling tile without damaging it. So all right, we'll leave the light alone for now. We'll move on up. Here is the switch to change the color of the lights. And you can see them there. You can flip around. I have mine on 4,000 now. I think I might settle on that. We'll see. We go up the wire a little more. This is where it connects to the junction box by a twist. And then here's let me get this out of the way. Here's the metal junction box where the power meets the actual light. Before I move on to that, I'll note this wire here, go all the way down follow it to the light. From here up to the junction box, I measured about 26 inches long. So it gives you a lot of slack to mess around with. Just keep in mind when you install these, you got to put a lot of slack. Not necessarily a lot, but enough slack that if someone has to work on it in the future, that they can pull this all out of the ceiling and access the wiring. That's also electric code. So, all right, the junction box, this is pretty neat. It's separate from the light, obviously. Got a little clamp on it. It's a metal box. It's got a 2 half-inch knockouts. One is right here, if you can see it. The other I have a clamp in right now. One thing I'll note, you'll need to get clamps, wire clamps for these knockouts. They're half-inch knockouts that take 3/8 inch clamps. So inside the junction box, you've got a bunch of quick connects here. I love these. I waste most of my time, or spend most of my time, doing electrical on making sure all my pigtails or ties or whatever are done nice and capped, and all the wires are tight. Here, you just shred off about a 1/2 inch of insulation off the wire. You take about a 1/2 inch off, and then you just shove it in the hole there, and you are done. It's pretty awesome. If you make a mistake though, there's a little pin hole there. You can try to get the focus. You can stick a pin in that hole there, and it'll pop the wire out, which is nice. But you just got to make sure you get your neutrals with your neutrals, your hots with your hots, and your grounds with your grounds. So, and I find I bring in about 3 to 4 inches of wire into the box, a little over half. And it gives some room. You don't want to put too much. You don't want to put 6 inches of wire in this box, because then it gets cramped, and this lid will not stay down tight. So, but pretty neat, easy to work box here. Last thing I'll notice, there's one extra hole in each of these quick connects. So you can run a series of lights. This light happens to be the last in my series. So I started at that light there, and I made a huge circle all the way around to this one. So, all right, we'll close it up. So this thing clamps shut. Okay, standard 14 gauge wire going all the way around. For the hole up here, this is cellulose ceiling tile. But anyway, the lights come with a template here. I kind of had to make a center hole here. Draw it with a pencil. Since this is cellulose tile, I used my X-Acto knife and just cut a hole. If it's drywall, you can use a hole saw or a jab saw. One thing I will note here, it's 4 1/4 inch for the hole. You can get away with a little less or a little more, not too much. But if you make mistakes, you can get away with it. You can also probably start with a 4 inch hole saw and kind of trim from there. So you can see I got a joist here. I had a standard remodel LED light, recess light. I would not be able to install it here because of this joist. But with this low profile light, it just slips right in there. The one caveat, the one issue I will point out, these lights will pretty much go anywhere, but you have to be able to put this box up in the ceiling. Hold on, let me get this box up here. Get this slack wire out. See if I can do this with one hand. Probably, we'll see. I think I got it. Yeah, you have to be able to stick this box in the ceiling. So you see this box slides nice and easy past the joist. In another hole that I had, there was like a pipe here, and I barely fit the box in. And on 3 of the holes I had, there's furring strips to hold up these ceiling tiles. I had to take my oscillating tool and cut those out because they were running right down the middle. Now the light would have fit in there, but the box wouldn't. So when you're going nuts and making holes and all, you just have to be careful and make sure that you can fit that box in, especially if there's a wire coming out of both sides. I think the only problem area, excuse me, this dust, that I would have ran into is if the joist went directly down the center. So, but pretty much as luck would have it, in every hole I made, there was a joist, but I was still able to install it. Okay, now I'm going to move to the demonstration. Excuse me. Go over to my dimmer here, and I got too much of the ceiling. I'll flip these lights on. Okay, so this is about half brightness. Let me step back. I will bring the switch. This is the lowest. There's also two of the other lights in the my daughter's play area there, but and then we'll go up to the highest, so they get nice and bright. We'll go back down to about half. One thing I will point out here, these two lights on the end are the day light, and then these two are the bright white. So I still haven't decided on what I want to do, but these have a little more of a yellowish hue than those, where they're pretty much just white. So, but as you can see, really nice lights. They brighten the room up. They act like essentially any other 4-inch recessed light. They are dimmable. They pop in and out of the ceiling. Now we'll come back real quick. So this light I have here is on, and I'll kind of change some of the colors. So here's 5,000 or daylight. And I'll kind of put it up to the ceiling. You can see it, so it's pretty much white. It's a white ceiling. Here's 4,000, which is bright white. And then here is neutral white, which is 3,500. You can see it's getting a little more yellow there. And then the next one is soft white, which you can see it's a lot more yellow. And finally, the most yellow of them all is the warm white. Well, not probably not all, but is warm white here. So this is if you like things pretty yellow. I think soft white's usually the lowest that we go in our house. I'm gonna turn this on to 4,000 right now, and I'm just gonna stick it all back up in the ceiling, and we'll be done. Let's just see if I can do this with one hand. Okay. Tuck the box nice and gently back there. Okay, let's see if I can do this. I'd be done if I had two hands, but. Hang on, I've done this before. We are gonna get this. Okay, so I got one clip in. I'm going to bend this one back. There we go. And it's going to pop right in. There we go. Okay, and you got a little wiggle room here to move it around. So, and there you go. All right, well, this concludes my video. I hope it helped inform your purchasing decision. Thank you for watching.